Chapter 28. We'll need to start off with a few basic principles before our ritual begins, said Evil. Let's start from the very beginning. All things are energy, and all energy changes over time. That's as simple as I can make it. Evil scanned the room while his finger took a moment to point at each individual extractor. Every one of you is a form of energy. Bugs, flowers, animals, plants, and even oceans are forms of energy too. Now the human form uses 5 senses to observe other forms of energy. When it rains outside, a sense is triggered and the signal is sent to the brain. Now the mind becomes aware, thus awareness is generated. Once the mind is aware, the brain can persuade the essence of any form to act. This process is called consciousness. We were all staring. Not one man moved. It's the consciousness that we're after. It's like the hidden treasure, but this treasure is stuck inside everyone's head. And that's why we've gathered here today, said Evil. I don't care who gets the consciousness out or who generates the light, but in order to generate the purest type, we have to slaughter an ego first. We're going to keep trying our little ritual until one of our fine friends illuminates their own mind. Got it? Evil was pointing up at the light bulb. The yellow glow added a hint of divine madness from above. You see, the light bulb holds the light, but the bulb is not the light. The human body holds our life, but that life is as slippery as the sea. The more you wrestle with it, the more it tricks you. Oh, you've got to hang on for your dear life and let go of everything at the same time. It's almost impossible to get there, but it can be done. So what does that mean? Said one of the extractors. Usually it takes many years or even many lifetimes to get someone's pineal gland fired up. Years of prayers, chants, and meditations can get you to it, but it's up to us to break open their ego. Does anyone know how we do that? Asked Evil. Drugs, said a man. Some substances can get you close, but not quite, said Evil. Suffering, I spoke aloud, just as the caterpillar becomes the butterfly. Evil was shaking his head and rubbing his chin. Oh, this boy is a genius! And if these prisoners want to live, then they may as well die trying before we're done with them. It's not impossible, just highly improbable, but we've got to keep trying until we get it right. His eyes were focused on me when his hand sorted through the bag of drugs. And if we want to make their light shine, things may get a bit dark first, said Evil. Inside the bag of quality drugs were pounds of green buds alongside white bricks and even more pill bottles. Then his hand pulled up the single orange capsule. This is the special medicine for today's ritual. It's called LSD, said Evil. If these prisoners want to survive, they'll have to navigate their own mind through the prison we call the body in order to produce our light. And when will we know if they make the consciousness? If we can't see it, how do we know when it's done? I asked. I will know, said Evil, and I will let you know when I know. How? I asked. I never trusted this being, not once, but there was truth to his words even if I hated his ways. That's a difficult question, said Evil. I could give you all eternity, but you might never get there. He paused without moving his eyes off mine. And even if I told you the answer right now, you wouldn't understand it. But I suppose I can give you a hint, and maybe you'll figure it out on your own. Let me ask you this, said Evil. What are you exactly? It took a moment before an extractor spoke. You want to know what I am? That's your question, asked the extractor. Yes, precisely, said Evil. What is it that you are? I'm a man, he said. A man as in a body, interrupted Evil. So you're an arrangement of human meat, blood, and bones, that kind of body. What happens if you lose a finger? Do you die? No, you've lost a finger, but you are not the finger, said Evil. See, the fact is that you have a body, but you are not that body. It's a rental, and we only charge you karma for what you do with it. Evil paused and pointed at the light again. It's just like that bulb up there, said Evil. There's something inside of it, isn't there? What's all that glowing about? Am I the mind driving this body? Said a different extractor. Close, said Evil. Oh boy, you might even get the right answer in this lifetime. I was staring at the bulb when Mock Collie Jack whispered something in my ear.
We are a body of light.
His gaze shifted at once. His eyes zeroed in on me as if he'd heard her speak. Walking past everyone, Evil stood in front of my mask. Do you want to say it, or should I? He asked. We are the light. Yes, we are looking for the light because that's what we are. Isn't that right, Collie Jack? Said Evil. Today you are our leader, and I want you to bring the highest consciousness back to Earth. Can I count on you? I nodded, and so he pressed the orange pill bottle into my grip and winked. "Everyone, follow us," said Yvol. Into the main corridor, then we stopped before a hallway lined with cells. All 7 of us were with him when he pulled me away from the bunch and instructed me to stand still. 2 other extractors were arranged beside me for protection if anything went awry. The other 4 extractors followed him back toward the cells while I listened as the doors began to open. One by one, the extractors escorted each prisoner in a line towards me. Yvol came up from the rear and pointed to the orange bottle of LSD in my hand. Only footsteps now. No one said a word, and I was the medicine man watching the first prisoner forced to his knees in front of me. His eyes were delirious, and I remembered existing in a similar state. Oh, how terrible the mind may be. Then they yanked his hair back so his jaw opened wide while his throat looked up to the ceiling. His eyes were reaching for mine, and as I looked into this man I saw something spectacular. Deep within his pupil, I could see the light trapped within the body. This man had a body, yes, but his body was a vehicle for this precious light. He was panicking, so afraid of my mask, and all I wanted to tell him was that tomorrow was a new day, and that he shouldn't hate me for trying to help his light. Oh, my dearest son, you must survive this night. I finished the silent prayer, looking into his eyes as I twisted the orange capsule open. T. Hammond used my fingers and took hold of the paper tabs. Setting one on his tongue, I heard Ma whisper,
"You are a body of light."
The next prisoner came forward, and so I bowed to present her with the same medicine while they held her hair back. Her mouth came open before me.
"You are a body of light."
I heard Ma whisper. We followed this process until I felt the presence of Manuka, Otto, and Levi coming forward to receive the substance on their tongues. I would not look up again. It was disrespectful to the prisoner kneeling before me. Each individual required our perfect concentration, and as each prisoner was lowered to his or her knees, I felt them coming closer. Levi was lowered before me. They pulled his hair back and his jaw came open. I knew those eyes looking back at me. Have mercy, Kali Jack. You are a body of light, I whispered in my heart. I placed the drug on his tongue, and then they took him back. Then they lowered Manuka to her knees while Otto waited behind her. You're doing so good, said Yvol. At least we don't go around asking them for money after. What are we then? Sinners? I wondered. Or the ones who turned the other way, said Yvol.